people gonna have picks and chooses on who they defend and what they feel like is out of pocket. So we got two different scenarios, but this is talking about the same thing. We're talking about features. So Young Thug felt some type of way because Kendrick Lamar wouldn't give him a feature, or haven't really gave no feature to any other young artists. And of course, this was a one from one of the leaked jail calls. So this was before the two verses on the Playboy Cardi album actually came out, where he was kind of being like, oh, you only give verses to Baby King and he ain't really popping, or whatever the case may be. You should do songs with 21, Dirk, or Baby. Realistically, if I'm gonna be honest, out of all of those people, he probably said, I probably wouldn't mind hearing 21 and Kendrick like on one of those super crazy deep songs, and people be like, dang, I didn't know 21 could really get in that bag. 100% positive, I know for a fact Lord Dirk would leave Earth on a song with Kendrick Lamar. So I'm cool with those two verses. Would be absolutely perfect. It would make a lot of sense. But of course, the backlash the Young Thug is receiving because people love Kendrick Lamar. So people going to drag it, and people probably realistically, like most people, are kind of tired of the leak calls and listening at the nag and sound like a hater. But let's take this same conversation. Ghostface felt the same way about him reaching out trying to get a Wayne feature. Now, let's be honest. I mean, of course, it just it probably depends realistically on your age and where you're from on how you receive should Ghostface have to pay 150 for a Lil Wayne feature. And just let's be real, I don't think that he actually reached out to Wayne. I'm sure he probably was trying to go through a middleman person, because if you are a real Lil Wayne fan, or you somebody like me, every Friday just go to Apple Music and look at what new music has released, bro, Lil Wayne be doing so many crazy features that you be like, dog, how did they get a feature like this? Because I can't imagine, no disrespect to Corday. Corday got two Wayne features. I can't imagine Corday be able to get two Wayne features and Ghostface couldn't get one. I'm sure Ghostface just reached out to the wrong person. But if you listen to the audio, you go on one of these hip hop blogs and you go listen to the audio and how aggressive the Ghostface sounded. And of course, you could be like, oh, that's just a New York thing. But how he felt about Wayne, somebody even coming back telling him that Wayne wanted a $150 for a feature, he was like, what? But this is, let's be clear, this is still Lil Wayne, and I'm even if I'm Wayne, again, I don't think he personally reached out to Wayne. I don't think Wayne probably know nothing about this, if I'm just being honest, because again, I've seen literally just last Friday, Lil Wayne, I'm talking, was rapping out of his mind, but probably on the worst Busta Rhymes song I've ever heard in my life. It was Busta Rhymes, BG, and Lil Wayne. Think about what I'm telling you right now. Just that trio alone sounds absolutely insane. And it's just as crazy as it sounds, that song was absolutely probably the worst Busta Rhymes song I've ever heard in my life. But cool, Lil Wayne, I'm talking left Earth on that song. So I can't imagine Wayne sitting here saying I won't do a Ghostface song, or even trying to charge Ghostface 150. That just, like, if you know Wayne and how much he just really loved rapping and hip hop, you kind of know that just sound crazy to me. But before the fact that Ghostface got on somebody's podcast and said this, and the way in the tonality he said it was just as crazy as the junk with Young Thug. So it kind of made me sit here and say, dang, like, how do you even really judge who should get a feature and who shouldn't? Let's just play the hypothetical game. Let's just sit here and say, see, it's hard for me to say Wayne, because I think Wayne likes to rap with just some of the best rappers to prove that he's still the greatest rapper alive. Like, so many underground, like hip hop, lyrical miracle type of rappers got Lil Wayne features. So it makes no sense to be like, hey, I'm Lil Wayne, I'm gonna draw the line at Ghostface Killer. Like, think about what we're saying right now. That does not make no sense. And that's to the fact when I'm even hearing Ghostface say that, I'm kind of like, you couldn't have went really into, like, reached out to Wayne. You probably went to somebody you thought probably still had connects with Wayne and was still connected with Wayne. But I can't imagine you actually reaching out to Wayne. But again, tying that into the Young Thug situation, where it's like, okay, Young Thug reach out to Kendrick Lamar, but again, everybody will have a different discourse. Because if you're a super hip hop head, you're gonna ride for Ghostface and feel like 9 times 10 you probably don't like Lil Wayne anyway. So you're gonna feel like, oh yeah, Ghostface was right and Wayne was wrong. How you gonna charge Ghostface for a feature? But again, look at Thug and Kendrick Lamar. Young Thug in his world, even when he's saying it, where it's like, oh, you do a song with me, Baby, or Dirk, or 21, the real world. I ain't talking about the people who hit. And let's be clear, it is a different scenario. And the way you see people respond to a Ghostface and Wayne, that is the diehard super hip hop fans who be on Double XL and still up Underworld star comments and stuff like that. These are pure hip hop fans. They will sit here and feel a way about Wayne not giving Ghostface a feature. And those same people realistically probably feel like, yeah, Young Thug should never be on a song with Kendrick Lamar. But in Young Thug's world, he probably feel like Kendrick needed him. And of course, this was all before the diss with Drake and whatever the case may be. But even when he was sitting here comparing it and sitting here saying, oh, this is why Drake is bigger than whatever, he'll never be big as Drake. I mean, of course, like this is before the beef, so you got to kind of take some of that conversation with a grain of salt. But realistically, he kind of had a point where it was like that is what kind of separated Drake from a lot of other artists, because Drake is willing to work with new rappers or rappers that people never heard of, even looking like McConan. I mean, of course, that's probably a bad person to choose right now to use for example because his situation right now. But even with all that being said, it's still that Drake didn't care if you got a hot song or you're getting some buzz somewhere in the city. I'm gonna jump out there. I'm gonna reach out to you. I'm gonna do a song for you. I'm gonna try to help your career, elevate your career. And I do think sometimes some rappers I can understand where Young Thug, especially where Young Thug come up from. Like you think about it, if you are somebody who actually grew up like listening like on live mixtape where they was just endless mixtapes all day long when Atlanta artists were trying to, especially anybody who was connected to Gucci Mane, they were so freely with doing endless mixtapes with random people. Like it's a what is up? It's a mixtape. It's Pee Wee Longway, Young Dolph, Gucci, and Young Scooter. Like, and you think about this, think about that combination where if like you really not like a super huge like hip hop mixtape, and I ain't gonna say hip hop, I'm like Atlanta like underground live mixtape era, you probably may not even know who Pee Wee Longway is. But for the fact that it's him, Young Scooter, and Young Dolph got a project together, and Gucci didn't put so many different people together, like that was at a time where Gucci was just pairing whoever his young homies was, and they all had songs together, and that was the reason why I felt some type of way, even when Thug trying to throw jabs at Amigos. Though Young Thug and Amigos had so many songs together when they were coming up, where it was Jose Guapo and all of these other different people. If you in so he kind of came up in that era where like yeah, we all should work together so we can all kind of benefit off of building each other fan bases up and help building each other's career up. So that's kind of just the era Young Thug actually grew up in, and that is realistically how he even kind of got hot. So I understand how he may take reaching out to somebody and trying to get a feature and they say no a little bit more personal than the average person who may came up already in the streaming era, because he came up in the mixtape era where that was almost like common practice where everybody kind of did features for each other, and that's how you help elevate the next rapper. And if you listen to what he actually saying and you take out your bias or your fandom for Kendrick Lamar, I mean, he was keeping it a bean, because I do think that audience who listens to Dirk, Baby, 21, even Thug, is a different audience from the average listener who listens to Kendrick Lamar. If you're just being honest, not sitting here saying that their fan base is bigger, but their fan base, they're like their diehard listeners are completely different.